can also translate into business as well.
Yeah,
how do you do it in your relationship and your marriage now?
So I would say...
Because it didn't work before, right, and now it is working.
Just so you said, a couple years in, looking for the next business, that's how I felt in last relationships. I'll be transparent and say that to you. And it's the complete opposite now. Because I had enough of that pain to realize that doesn't lead anywhere. So that's probably time on this earth to realize that there's never a time where I said, oh, this is so great. It's like you look back and you're like, that was just dumb. It was a dumb decision. Like I was always searching for, say, the perfect business when I needed to be the perfect business owner, right? So if you're dabbling and saying, oh, should I work on Shopify? Should I write a book? Should I create a course? Should I do masterminds? Sometimes we're looking for the outside thing to make it great when really it's us. Yeah. And so I think that's time on this earth, and I know I had to go deep inside. The second thing, just like a business, is burn the boats. I never burned the boat. I always left one boat in the harbor. You know what I mean?
A few boats here and there.
You know, with the engine running, right? This relationship is so magical to me. And let me back up. When I said this is what I must have in a relationship and this is what I can't accept in a relationship, and I found that, and I found this connection, I found this love, I burned the boats. And I also did, I think they use this in like 12-step program, but I did like fantasy contamination. Like the way I love this woman, I say this because she's here in the room with us right now, there's nothing I can compare that would want me to compromise that love. When she walks in a room, the only man she looks at is me. I screw that up once, she might still be with me. What if she didn't look at me that way? What if she didn't love me on that level? So I think through, okay, what if I even just flirted with this girl? What if I just text back to a girl that hit me up just to say hi? I'm like, what if she saw that? And then the next time she looked at me, it just didn't have that luster. So I think of that and I contaminate all of it and I burn the boats and there's zero options.
Wow. What do you call it? Fantasy contamination?
Fantasy contamination. I heard it someplace, so I'm just going with it.
Right.
But I do and none of them would be more rewarding than this. So burn the boats. First off, make sure you're in the right relationship. Burn the boats. Stay in your swimming lane. And proximity. That's a great one. That was great advice I got from somebody, is proximity. Like I used to travel all the time, do events, thousands of people, and always be alone. Always, always, always. And the truth is, not that I have any temptation, but I don't want to be alone. I want to grow with my woman. So there's everything I do. And I mean, she's sitting with me now. If I'm on stage, there's 8,000. We just did an event with 8,000 women, Rachel Hollis's event. When I got the audience going crazy, cheering, clapping. They're waiting in line to do it. When I look over, I'm at my wife right there. And that's my woman. That's my everything. And when I'm on stage, when I'm on a podcast, I am not... Before, in previous relationships, I barely talked about my relationships.
Right. I don't think I ever heard you talk.
No, I never did. There's not a time I'm on stage, I'm out in public. And here's this crazy thing, and you know this with your business, and take it back for your business. The more you talk about something,
with
the more
excitement, with
but
love.
You don't just anchor it into the world, you anchor it into yourself.
Yeah.
So with my team, my office, we have 70 people in my team. Every day, Lewis, I talk about how we're changing lives. We're making self-education the new norm. It's our responsibility to create an alternative to the education system. Our clients aren't leads. They're not somebody you just sell. These are human beings, and they're putting their faith in us to help change their life. This is a responsibility. We get to change lives for a living. I say it so much that I know when people first start working, they're like, oh, this guy Dean, I hear it. But you give it 6 months, I walk in like, Dean, we changed 2,700 lives this month. Because it became part of it, because it's what I spoke out to the world.
That's cool.
So, and plus I write her a note every single week that helps too. Yeah. Maybe 2 a week.
What's the hardest thing to keep it thriving? The relationship and the business? Like, is there ever moments where you're like, it's stressful, I got this, I got that, I got kids, I got,
yes.
Traveling.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just tell you, let me just tell you the last 42 hours. I jumped on a plane, flew to Utah, did 2 business meetings, 4 podcasts, but brought my daughter and my wife, and I wanted to do 4 hours of snow. So we went and played in the snow and did all this fun stuff. But then my son was home and I missed him, so we flew back to Phoenix so I could spend 4 hours with my son. And I played baseball and ping pong and basketball. And then I dropped him off at his mom's and I jumped on a plane and I flew here, got here late last night. I had a meeting last night, I had one this morning, and love being here right now. That's just the last 42 hours.
That's
and
commitment.
But it's always like that, right? So I didn't say that to brag, because we all have busy lives. Yeah. We all have a lot going on. But what drives me, and kind of goes back to personal development, sometimes our buddy Randy Garn, we both know very well, always says, the little things aren't the big things. The little things are everything. So for me, what keeps me going, listen, I had something today go completely sideways in one of my businesses. Like the carpet got pulled out of something I never saw coming. It's the reason I was a half hour late. I'm never late for anything in the world. Yeah. Had something go sideways today. But how do you take that in and still find a way to look forward and get up early and hustle? Is having such a big, compelling future that's always changing that it pulls you towards it. So in my business right now, I want to make self-education the new norm. I want to give people, the world, an alternative to the traditional education system and traditional trial and error. Tony and I both feel that same way. That's why we work so hard to create this, right? So I wake up in the morning, literally, if it's a tough day, I'm like, I'm going to let the world down if I don't do this today, if I don't hustle. Listen, I'm 51. I feel blessed. I have the house of my life. Like, if I wanted to bail right now, I could bail today and never do another thing and be totally fine and not run out of money ever. But what would that do? Like, there's no passion in that for me. For me, it's like I want to leave a legacy. I want to change the world. So I got a couple of things for me that are non-negotiables. Is I get my kids half the time.
Half the time. Half your time?
Half my time.
Like your waking time.
Right. So
if you're awake 16 hours.
Oh no, I mean half the time meaning I get them half the week. So I get them 3.5 days every week. I get them 15 days every month, right? So I replace quantity with quality. So every day they're with me at 3 o'clock, I'm outside their school. I don't care. There's no business deal in the world. Wow. There's no meeting. There's no podcast. There's not $1 billion that could stop me for that. That's one. I coach every little league, coach baseball, coach softball. Nothing can change that. I want to spend time with my wife and keep maturing this relationship. I love my team. I love impacting the world. Nothing else gets my attention. Yeah. And I think about somebody taking away any of that from me, and I get out of bed faster, quicker, stronger than anyone, and I have more energy. Everybody's like, I just did all these podcasts. People are like, how do you get so much energy? It's like, because I know where I'm going, and I stare at it, and I think about it every day. Like, people say, how often you got to look at your goals? Every day. Because the world's going to gobble you up if you don't. So that's why I have so much energy towards my businesses. Also with my relationship. I know what it's like to go through a divorce. That sucks for everyone. I know what it's like to be in the wrong relationship. I know what it's like to not feel love and feel lonely. Like, I remember years of being New Year's Day. I'd watch the ball drop alone for like 5 years in a row. And I used to just think, man, I'd love to just find somebody I'd love with. Like, I want to kiss somebody on New Year's. That was the day that hit me for some reason more than any other day.
You see everyone kissing.
Yeah, and you're just, but it hit me like everybody, and the outside world thought my life was perfect, and me, I have all these great people around me, all this money, and my heart is so lonely on the inside. So I remember that, and I know the way I feel now. My heart is completely full. I kissed the love of my life on New Year's this year, and when I see that and I feel it, and I'm grateful to God I have it, my compelling future is to make this woman love me more every year. Wow. And that's what I just wake up and keep doing. I legit put energy into it I never did before. I think of ways all the time to surprise her, to make her go, I'm like, how can I get her to love me more? Because the more I give of me, the more I get back.
Wow. Now, something you said there about a bigger, compelling future. Is that what you mentioned it? Having a bigger, compelling future. I think there's probably 80, maybe 90% of people in general, I feel like, don't have this massive or big, compelling future. They have a goal or a dream, but it's not big enough to get them out of bed every morning when they're tired and all those things, right? Yeah. So there's a big group of the world that I feel like doesn't know what their big, compelling future is. And then there's a group of the world that is made it. They've made a bunch of money. They've built a company. They've sold, have more money than they ever thought they would make in their lives. And they kind of lose that big, compelling future because it's like, well, I'm not hungry anymore. Yeah. So how do those two types of people recreate that or rediscover?
Really great question. So
on either spectrum, like the beginner or the one who's already made it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the one who made it in a moment. The beginner or just starting. I'm just going to get really simple on this. I look at it like a beacon of light, right? What's a lighthouse, right? It tells the boats either where to go or where not to go, right? It's a light that the ships used to see way out, and they'd know how to get to the shores of the East Coast, up in Boston, those areas. That's where lighthouses first came into play, right? So I think of a lighthouse like a beacon of light that we all need to go towards every single day. Like, I need something that gets me out of bed to look at and go, oh, that's why I'm getting up. That's why I'm working hard. But what happens is so many of us have already surpassed the goals we had when we were 19. Like most everybody listen right now. If you went back to your 19-year-old self or 17-year-old self and said, you're going to do this and do this, you're like, no way, that's so cool. Right. But we don't keep taking that lighthouse, that beacon of light, and moving it further out. I think, I like simple visuals, is what is it, if it was the best year of your life, like we all have aspirations, right? If we're sitting here a year from now, Lewis, and it's the best year of your life, I tell everybody, just start dreaming. Best year of my life looks like this, looks like that. My love would be on a whole nother level. My body would be here. The money I'm making, my company's thriving. You write all those down, and then you stick them on this beacon of light and push it a little bit further away from you that you can't reach it. And it's got to be a little bigger than you think, so it challenges you. Right? Like, I don't say, hey, I'd like to create a course with Tony Robbins and help change a few people's lives. It's like, no, I want to change the school system. I want to create a new way that people learn. I want to make it so when people go to a job interview in 10 years from now, they go, yeah, you went to college, that's great. But where'd you get your self-education?
Wow.
Right?
That's cool.
So when I think about that and it's posted on that beacon of light, like, I can't let, grass grow under my feet. I got to hustle. The other thing I like to think about is, and I'm digressing a little, but I like to play like I'm 10 points down. I like to not say I won before, I won the last game. It's why it's so hard for championship teams to come back and win the second year. They're kind of resting on what they did the year before. It's almost like a curse, except for the Patriots, right? But everybody else. So always have a compelling future, deciding what's your best life, and continue to re-examine it and change it. Listen, in my 20s, when I first started making money, I was a broke kid, didn't go to school, started making money. You know what success was to me? Is I was able to jump on a plane on a Thursday after work, fly to South Beach, Miami, get a table and dance on a table till 4 o'clock in the morning and party and have fun. Like, that was a compelling future to me at the time. I wanted to go back and do that because I had nothing as a kid. That is so far from exciting to me now than anything on the planet. But that compelling future has changed 20 times since then. So you got to keep changing it, keep analyzing it, make it so it gets you out of bed, and then push it a little further out. And the other thing, for people who've sold, and we have a lot of mutual friends that have done that, sold, and they kind of lost their luster. It's forgetting, and I know this is personal growth 101 and everybody's heard it, but it's forgetting that this journey is the excitement. It's not the end, right? And everybody that cashes out realizes that. So I would just look at it as the two different entrepreneurs, and you should self-identify. There is an entrepreneur that is a lifestyle entrepreneur. That means I get to a certain amount of money, I don't need any more, I want to golf a couple days a week, I want to wake up at 10, I make $1 million a year, whatever that number is, and that's all I want. The other entrepreneur is an accomplishment-based entrepreneur. That's, I climb this mountain, there's a bigger one. I want to climb that one, I climb this one, I want to climb that one. Just figure out which one you are. And what I tell a lot of my friends, if you're going to sell your company, have a re-engagement plan within 6 months. Because I watch all of them. If they go a year, they don't even know how to get back in the game. So re-engage earlier if you didn't already sold. Didn't already sell.
Have a game plan quickly.
Yeah, you have to, because you have all this momentum, and then it's just emptiness. It's like everything goes quiet.
You got a big bank account, but then you're like, what's
my purpose, right? And then what I'd say is exactly that. Like, I was here when I launched Millionaire Success Habits. I had a process in there called the 7 Levels Deep. Just asking yourself why you're doing anything you do. So I would just really analyze your why. Again, personal development 101, but find another accomplishment, even if that's giving money away. Like, look at Branson. Like, I got the chance to spend a lot of time with Branson. He felt that until he found charities, Virgin Unite and Space. Now he's just completely jacked out of his mind, up every day. You look at Tony. Tony's whole mission right now is serving people and contributing. He's giving more money away than he ever did before. It gets him out of bed in the morning, right? So you just have to find that next biggest thing and have a reason to get out of bed.
Do you guys have a name for your job?
We do.
Is it public or no?
It's not. Can I tell him?
No, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me.
I can tell you by the time this comes out. It's a boy.
Boy.
I haven't told anybody. His name's going to be Luca.
Oh, that's my nephew's name.
Really?
Yeah, that's cool.
Luca Graziosi. You're the only person we told. We didn't even tell our family. So that's how much I love you, brother.
This won't come out for another month, I guess. So Luca, what a great name. Is it after something?
No, just
like the name.
Yeah, because Graziosi's so long. We wanted to give a little.
Luca, that's a good name. How's it spelled? Do you know?
Luca.
Okay, my nephew's Luka.
Okay.
After Louis and Catherine.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So, hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say you get to write a message to your son in a letter, and you're never able to say this message to your son throughout his entire life. Obviously, you're going to be able to do this, but let's just say hypothetical. You're going to live a long life. You're going to see Luca grow up and be this incredible young man and do everything he wants to do. But you'll never get to